Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to show 50, episode 50, Rocky Off the Rails. We got quite a crew in here already. It says 9 people, but there was people in here since for the last hour or so. Dwight with Curly Express, he's the first into the show. I gave him some pancakes and bacon. Mom's watching out there. Liz. Let's see who's in the comments here. Liz from Windsor Valley Railroad. Welcome. Let's see. Yep, it's been a year. Hard to believe. Okay, let's see who else we got here. Getting back on track with Steve and Roxy. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Pete Motley. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. GRE 2057. Also, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, hit that like button. Get us some more people. We can always use more people. Dan in Ohio. He's here from sunny and humid Ohio. And let's see, JP is here from Riverside. Thanks for joining. Steve 87. Good morning. Finally not doing anything. Well, you're doing something now. You are watching this nonsense as it spews out of my mouth. Okay. So let's see. Oh, we shouldn't forget our star of the show. There's Rocky being dangerous, but that's what mountain goats do. He's standing as I am. Well, I'm not standing on level 2, but Rocky is standing on benchwork, or a piece of wood on top of the benchwork on level 2. So there you go. Book 'em, Dano. Yep. And I'm trying out a new thing today. You might be able to see. I think there's comments over there. Maybe if I'm pointing in the right direction. Yep. Rocky's building level 2 because, actually he's not building level 2. He's overseeing the work as it is. So, let me get this banner turned off. Okay. Yeah. Level 2. In fact, let me go to the other view here, and you'll see that I am standing at some temporary wood sub-roadbed. The comment list is all over my face. Huh. Okay. I need to change something then. Hold on a second. Well, I figured that out. Come on. There we go. Let's see. Get that back there. Okay. Yeah. Nothing like doing stuff live in the show. Now, maybe I'm out of the way. I'm going to have to figure out another place to put Rocky off the rails here. There we go. Then let me get this other one set up. And there we go. Now it shouldn't be covering up everything. Where's that comment? I need to turn it off. There we go. Okay. All right, let's do some other stuff here. Let's turn that off. Nothing like adjusting shows. There we go. Now everything's reconfigured here. So yeah, we are in the train room. There are no trains running. Crews have been advised that large objects may fall on the track at any time, so they suspended operations. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So what have we got here? We've got something that's going to go be a guest. 8512. That is the locomotive from Roy Smith's Facebook page, Hero Photo. He's going to go make a guest appearance at the Roy Smith rail yard dedication. So that's just there to remind me that I need to take that, because later after the show, I'm going over to Pete's house, Pete Motley, and he's got some work on his layout that we're going to do along with another person or two. And probably hear from the great Mongo barking, who, believe it or not, has got a louder bark than my dog. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. No more precarious than all the ones hanging on the wall behind me, right? Like all of those are somewhat precarious as well. This cabinet falls off the wall. All right. Hey, Closet Branch is here, and we'll show, let's see. No pants. Look at that. Yes, my skin is very light. Some may call me transparent. Okay, Closet Branch is here. We can all go home now. And see, I have forced Closet Branch to turn his icons on his show to no pants. And I've got Rocky and Train here. Okay. Yes. One of my former bosses would actually agree. He actually has a Facebook channel named No Pants. It's actually kind of funny. I don't think it's had any activity for a while. But yeah. So what else we got going on here today? Not a lot in the show. We're looking back on this is the 50th episode. And one thing I want to keep in mind is how this all started. So the live show, Rocky Off the Rails, was an offshoot, a spinoff of what I had been doing every Saturday. And I'm still doing once a month, every Saturday, which is the layout photos. And that was from the late Roy Smith. So it was on that first show that actually, I forget who it was, but they actually posted in the comments that Roy's son has said Roy had passed away. And so I heard about it live on episode 1. So, but that has been the impetus for this show. And also another kind of thing that I'd like to say is it's really helping others out. So maybe helping others out is actually showing things like, here's what not to do on the show. Here's what not to do on your layout. Speaking of that, you see, so I've got this Benchwork that I've been working on. This has always been the most challenging part of the layout. So we've got this 8-foot span here, 4 feet wide, part of the peninsula here that I'm standing in front of. And you can see from that camera view. Let's put this down so people don't have so people don't get freaked out about falling spontaneously, jumping to its death. Yeah. Yes, this is very true. I wouldn't say that Roy passed the torch to me. I think that there's a number of people that have picked up the torch and continue on. In fact, and other people that were already carrying the torch, but Roy didn't ask me to do anything. In fact, at that point, it was beyond. It wasn't possible to ask. I did get nominal. I got permission from his son. At least he didn't shut it down. I was getting nervous about this show. Yeah. So, and Pete, nice to see 4449 running on your layout again. That looked awesome. So, anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah. Roy was the impetus for this show. But, and I'm talking about Benchwork here. Who knows? I haven't even started to plan about what happens if I'm not here, but probably a good idea. That I'll leave it at that. Okay, so anyways, Benchwork here. I've got my L girders here, but I'm not using L girders in the way that a lot of people use L girders. So these are basically turned into glue lambs here, and you can see where I have the stain from the glue, but that'll be covered by fascia. Yeah. Didn't know that. I know they actually fired up 700, and they actually pulled the shay out of the building. For those that don't know, I'm talking about the Oregon Rail Heritage Center, which is in downtown Portland, right across from OMSI, which is the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. But really, it's just a place where they put displays for kids and such. Yeah. So what do we got going on? Yeah, 4449 has been steamed up. They all undergo like a annual inspection. They were both 700 and 4449 were both under steam 3 months ago for the National Train Day. In fact, there were 3 locomotives under steam, and one of them was pulling. One of them was Polson number 2, I believe. Polson lumber. Anyways, let's not upside down L girders. Well, they're serving a different purpose. So I'm going to build 4 approximately 2 by 4, 2 feet by 4 feet modules. This one here on this side will be about 21 inches by 48, give or take. And the upside down L girders mean that I don't have another 3 inches of intrusion into the seam below. So the modules will actually rest on this bottom part of the L here. And on this side, it's not an L girder, it's a T girder. Same principle though. So those span the 8 feet with very little deflection. And then just as a kind of insurance policy, and I know these both are going to carry some weight, there's 2 3/8 inch threaded rods. And then at each level, they have nuts and washers on each side of that T girder. And then finally at the bottom, there's another T girder that's flipped upside down. I don't know if you can see that. I will get another camera shot in here and you can look at some mess. So over here, you can see that's another 8-foot long T girder. That what that does is that distributes that load there. So finally, I'm going to have right below, let me get this other one back, right below these threaded rods on the floor will be another leg providing support, because I have noticed that there is some about an 1/8 inch sag on that run, which is actually not bad. It's an 8-foot span. Below the staging level, there are also 4 L girders, and they are also, as JP pointed out, they are inverted. They're upside down. So, yeah, so, yep, so I can actually, I'll be able to take modules out of this Benchwork, but the Benchwork will still be there. So this was the challenge that I had. It was like, okay, how am I going to make a way that I can have removable modules and have the stability that I need? And this is, while it's not rock solid, it is pretty stable. I can deflect it with my hands, but no weight of trains running or anything like that is going to actually cause it any trouble. So yeah, at least that's my story, and I'm sticking with it until it actually falls down. And I am going to, when I get scenery going, it's not going to be heavy plaster. It's going to be foam core carved, and then light plaster or Mod Podge or whatever the stuff is covering over the top. Yeah, actually, I think that's partially true. And there's the other part. Scenery is probably, except for the actual sub road bed itself, which I'm still unsure. I'm probably not going to do a cookie cutter here, because the lowest grade is going to be defined by the edge of this right here, or actually 1/2 inch above this outside L girder. Yeah, some may say, but I could miss something. I could miss something. Anyways, yeah, I think I've got it just about covered. Then the cleats, there are cleats that in this corner, there's a cleat that this L girder rests on here, and that's glued and screwed into this solid piece here. And then this joint is pocket screwed in and glued here on that corner. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to fall Yeah, so if I need below grade, then what I'll do is I'll raise the grade higher, and then we'll cut down into it. So that's my plan for that. That obviously on the second level, the cleat. Okay, let me change camera views here. And I don't know if we're going to be able to see that too well. Let me get some light shining down there. There you go. And now change. Okay, so now you can see there's a cleat, and then this other rail, the one with 4 screws in that, that's not going to be that much load bearing because the major load is going to be coming through from this L girder here transferred into here. So I may even drill that out, and I'm thinking that I'm probably going to put a carriage bolt in there when I get the end unit on there, because that will actually make sure I don't even want to know. Mountain Bachelor is not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is the one off our coast, right? That's gonna be a rock and roll. And there's a lot of stuff in my house that is not seismically safe at the moment. Anything on a shelf, trains, probably these cases on the walls are probably not safe. Who knows? I don't want to think about it. The piece with 4 screws strengthens the cross brace. Yes, it does. I did not glue that in there. I could back those screws out and glue that there. And yeah, that cross brace is 3 inches by 2 feet, and then the center has got a little bit of a Y to it. Anyways, yes, this is birch. I went with birch, although this is not the most expensive birch. This is 5-ply. This is 5-ply, and you could call it 7 if you called the top layer of the veneer. So they have a very thin layer of veneer on that. I believe that's what's going on. And then they've got 1, 2, 3, 5 plies sandwiched in between that. Cut back. Okay, let's see. What's protruding at the end? Yeah, so you might notice, I angle that camera down. There's a piece of 3 inches sticking out at 3 inches here. This is because this end is, I want to make a 48-inch radius possible, although it won't. I mean, 48-inch total outside radius or diameter of that half circle, let's say, at the end. That'll allow me to have, like, say, 22-inch radius around the end on the outside track. Anyways, what'll happen is the fascia will come out in the cover this up, but the end module that will be round, that will mirror, move the camera here, that will mirror that here. So they'll both come out to the same distance here. So let me get that comment off of there. Which one was it? Yeah. Yeah, I took the socks off just so, nobody could say something about underwear hanging on my layout. uh, I don't know which one. Which one was that? 8.8. Was that the one in Far East Russia? What's your minimum radius? Great question. I have all the way down to a very tight, the tightest super elevated in radius that there is. Let me get tape measure. And you're going to hear me walking away from the mic. But we can actually get that tape measure out and give us approximate. Yeah, this inner radius is 12. The inner radius is 12, and that's not intended for large axles or steam trains going around there. Although many of them say they can handle these small, tight radii. That is the that is the ruling smallest radius, but that's only in the staging yard. Typically, I wouldn't go below, what is it? You measure at this other end or down here. Let's see. Typically 15 would be the smallest radius I'm going to see, and 15 to 19 are the radius that I'm going to do for main lines. And most likely it'll be like 18 and 19 inch radius for main lines. So the branch line that I'm going to have on the second level will have tighter radius than that. But I only intend to run like 4-axle diesels on that, or smaller steam. Okay, great question. Let's see. So next week is the 23rd. It's actually not the last Saturday of the month. So we'll figure out something to do next week. Last Saturday on the month, we'll run trains. And then for anybody who's local, myself and some friends go and play that game called Free Ride USA. You saw me play it live at one of these shows that I had. I forget what episode it was. But yeah, we go over every couple weeks, and there's a game store / playing area that's actually 5 minutes from my house. So kind of cool. We went there last Wednesday and played. And since a few of us were not working this past week, we had off a week courtesy of our company. And then another guy who's more or less retired or working for himself. Younger than me. Interesting fellow. But anyways, let's see. So then so that'll be the weekend of Labor Day weekend, and then the following Labor Day weekend, we will have the layout photos again. So we'll figure out what's for the next week of it could be another update for the show, like I expect to have built at least the benchwork for these 4 modules. The 4 pieces will slide in here, and then I will begin thinking about how I'm going to support the end cap. Hint, it might be that there is threaded rod running on the outside of the layout, but I'm not sure yet. Not sure. If that is the case, then I actually have to tackle another 2 things. One is I want to get the fascia around the outside of this at this lower level down here. See my hand over there? I want to get that fascia running around. It's going to be just about 3 inches. And then the other thing is I do want to take my fears that are partially there and some other people who are larger, the existential threat of something derailing off that track 1 and falling to the floor. So to do that, what I will do is probably all along this first level where track is very close to the edge, well, some might say an inch away, there'll be plexiglass or some kind of clear thing that will stand up maybe 1/2 an inch to 3/4 of an inch higher, or maybe even an inch higher. I'm not sure what's makes most sense there. Anything other than 1/2 an inch still makes it possible for something to fall over the side. Yeah, I've been lucky. My track work is good on that. It's all and these curves are I've taken the maximum radius super elevated that Kato makes, but that wasn't enough for me. So I have 3 more tracks outside of that. So you could say 19, 20 inch, 21, and 22-ish, 20, almost 23 radii that are going around that curve. Okay, the height of your biggest car as the ruling. That's probably an inch. So I should see, I think the highest cars would be the double stacks or some of the auto racks. Yeah. Yeah, I think plexiglass is the best approach. It also keeps probably the larger fear that JP or somebody else had pointed out, which is untucked shirt tail. People leaning against the side of the layout. That's a bigger concern. Accidentally brushing that as you walk around the layout. Now, the fact is that at the end cap, at least, it'll be a little bit more protected because it's going to come out to the same thing. But I still haven't not figured out completely how that end cap is going to be supported. I should have figured that out before. But I think my idea was I'll figure it out when I get there. The thing is now we're getting there. So the end cap is going to have to be lightweight as possible. So it's not going to be solid benchwork. I mean, as far as it's not going to be, I'm not going to do anything fancy like curved benchwork or curved stuff. That's beyond what I want to deal with. I've seen a lot of great stuff, but I'm not going to bending or laminate bendable plies around there. Yep. Elbows. You're right, JP. Elbows, throttle cords, long uncoupling picks are problematic. I think the same thing is true for motorcyclists or bicyclists. There are those that have fallen down and those that have yet to fall but will. So eventually, I think, unfortunately, stuff does end up on the floor at some point, which is bad, very bad when you're talking about hundreds of dollars worth of stuff potentially hitting the ground. And what do they call it in rockets? It's rapid disassembly, rapid unplanned disassembly. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do. So the one that's going to go perpendicular, the one that's going to go perpendicular is going to, there'll be a bracket here at the end. It may even be shelf brackets. So I may even intrude into the space below somewhat. Rapid unscheduled disassembly. Yes. That's what it is. That, yeah, we could call these things, sometimes in the model train world, it is not so rapid. You hear wheels on the ground, on the ties, and then you look over and you might see, if you catch it, trains exiting the surface of the layout to begin their death spiral plummet to the ground. Fortunately, I think I've had, it's been limited a number of things that have done that. Yeah. So let's see, let's transition back over here. And so a year of shows, plan to do, I don't know where this ends or where it takes us. Continue to do these shows as long as people are tuning in and having fun. We got, a dozen or more people that are watching right now. And hi to all those people that are not in the chat. Thanks for watching. You are contributing to the show as well. I think, let's see, we got Mom out there. Hi, Mom. And that's about it. One last memory of somebody else that we lost, but we lost him coming up on 3 years ago in October, was my dad. So it would have been his, let's see if math does me right, 82nd birthday this past August 11th. So happy birthday to you up in heaven. So yeah, pretty much out of things to cover. I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I wanted to have all the bench work completed. Um, yeah, he's been gone for 3 years, almost 3 years now. Put a sign on the edge of the layout, name it Clayton Ravine or Eastwood Ravine. Yep. Yeah, so there's a number of things that are going to be on the second level to commemorate some of friends passing. At the far end, across, I mean, the layout where we're exiting the helix and around that bend there's going to be interchange with, that's where the interchange with the branch line. So on the second level, I'm going to have two things. I'm going to have a branch line that comes all the way from over near the helix, parallels the main lines, and comes over to this far side of the benchwork. So it'll be on just the side that I'm standing opposite of me. I intend to keep, except for the place where these threaded rods are at, I intend to keep this second level free of, it'll be unobstructed. There won't be any backdrop here. So you'll be able to see through this second level. And probably a similar thing, maybe on this other level here. If anything, there might be like a ridge line. Oh, there you go. JP has found me the parts at Home Depot. Yep. Thanks, JP. Yeah, I'm usually doing the Home Depot, wandering around looking for pieces that I can apply. Great question. I am going to have two Portland and Western locomotives on the layout on that branch line. They are ordered. Who knows when Atlas will finally get around to delivering them. But yeah, I pre-ordered those quite a while ago. It seems like it's coming up on a year ago. So I don't know exactly when they will be here, but yeah, I'm going to have Portland and Western, or the Genesee and Wyoming livery will be on the layout. Another thing would be possible, of course, is I could find some appropriate, I think they're SD40s -2s, but might be wrong. I forget which I think Genesee and Wyoming has standardized on 4 axles, so they're not SD40-2s. Anyways, it's possible you could just patch some Santa Fe and dirty it up a little bit. It would look just right at home as a Portland Western. Great question, GRA 2057. Thanks for that. Okay. Back to the Future reference. Yeah. I missed that. Of course, there's other people who've got references to Star Wars in their ravines. Yeah, I almost was. My back was a day. My back was giving me a bit of trouble. For what? Yep. Corp. Yes. So I have a Corp locomotive. Central Oregon Pacific Railroad, I think is the name. Let me pull that out. It's right here. If it runs, now this one is this one is a little bit troublesome, but it is a 4-axle. There you go. It is an Atlas. So, anyways, yeah, it's Central. It's not Corp. It's COPR. Actually, no, that's incorrect. It is CORP. Unless this is wrong. You can see that right there. So it might be OR for Central Oregon and Pacific. There's no railway in there. So yeah, I do have one of those. Now, believe that runs farther south than Portland. I think it's down in the more central, as the name would be, Central Oregon Pacific. So I'll have to look that up about where that's at. Yeah, so it's not. So let's see what's JP said. Yep, those cars get around just like the McLeod River Railroad boxcars. They get around. Probably getting a little bit old there. Yep, I'm sure they do. Very easy to find all that information. Just I don't have it in my head at the moment. So, yeah, I've got a number of older locomotives. I'll have to present those at some time, including my SD40-2 lobotomized one that I had to send back. That's the Kodachrome color SP. Ashland, Eugene to Ashland. I think they call it Black Butte, Cali. Yeah, the different Black Butte. There's a Black Butte up in Oregon, but Black Butte would be down in that. Yeah, the links only show up for here. Let me change that. Can I? Not easily, but let's see. I'll change that for you later, Dan. You can send me a message, SMS, and yeah, Dan's not an admin. Only JP and Dwight are admins. But you could send me a text, I can post it. Look it up myself too. Okay. What else is going on? So yeah, so after the show, I'm going to clean up, and I'm going to head over to, let's see, open up my messages app. Here we go. We will post that. There, courtesy of Dan. And let's see. Let's go. Switch this over. Do we drop the mic? Can you still hear me? Hello? Sound check. Probably maybe we dropped the mic when I opened the messages. So hopefully everybody can continue to hear me. I'm going to go over to share the desktop. And yeah, my face is probably, move my face to the other side, or even better yet, we'll hide it. All right, so this is where the CORP, Central Oregon and Pacific, runs from what they call Springfield Junction down to Black Butte, California. So yeah, nice little run there. So thanks for posting that. Go back over to here. So the mic is on the mic I'm depending on is on my laptop. So maybe you're hearing some sound there. I should go back to a lapel mic. But that was a Central Oregon and Pacific line. So it's not a Cascade line, or maybe it's Cascade line of the Southern Pacific. We'd have to bring up the Southern Pacific and see, maybe they share track rights there. And so that would now be with the Union Pacific. But yeah, be an interesting thing to go through about rail lines that are still existing in Oregon for Class 1 and others. So the one thing, there's two ones that I know that don't run anymore, and both of them are out to the coast. One is from Portland to Astoria. That used to be open, but I don't think they run anything on that anymore, or it's not possible. The other one is the one that went over from, it's called the Port of Tillamook Bay, and it ran from Portland to Tillamook, but that got closed, shut down in some storms we had in like 1998. Some of the grade became impassable. But before that, they actually didn't have some trains that went out there. So now to reach that, Tillamook still has a rail line out there, although the city is, one of the cities out there is trying to shut down part of the rail that the Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad runs on. Hopefully they don't get that. Hopefully not. But one of the cities petitioned the Port of Tillamook to tear up rail that is actually serving that coast right now, the Scenic Railroad. And they've invested in. And they have a lease until at least through 2026, and they're trying to get that extended. So who knows? Sometimes people go a bit too far with, they want to do rail to trail. Rail to trail is already somewhat there. In fact, some people have an idea of running rail to trail all the way from Portland to the coast along that rail line, although I think that's probably going to be never done, because there's some grades and there's some tunnels and some trestles that I don't think they repair. Certainly not with any revenue, and certainly not with any funds that Rails to Trails could actually come up with. that would be a huge undertaking to serve a few bicyclists, really, and a couple of hikers through the Coast Range. Anyways, yeah, they want to. If you follow Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad, they posted up a petition that the city council in forget what the name of that little town is, but yeah, the Scenic Railroad was already working with everybody, including the state authority and the ones that were doing rails to trail, to have rails with trail through that area, and that city didn't want to figure out the extra permitting or something like that, and so they're like, "Oh, we'll just petition them to pull it up. Nobody's using it anyways," which is an unfortunate thing because that Scenic Railroad actually brings people out to the coast that wouldn't otherwise be there, or spend money out there. So sometimes people forget about that. Okay, Dwight. Well, we'll see that, and we're getting close to the end. I think we've run the course on all these topics. But thanks everybody for being here. This was the 50th, Rockaway Beach. They're the small municipality that's trying to implement the rails to trail by pulling the rails out that Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad has a lease on and has been actively maintaining it. So sometimes progress works the other way. Okay, so we'll go and say, hey, Rocky is still there overseeing the work, slow as it is. But we will see him on the next one, on 51. And like I said, hopefully 51, we will show more progress on the layout. And figure out all these things like comments on here. I'm going to shift back to another mic because excuse me, because the noise. I didn't notice that, and since I don't have any feedback. Yes, very true there. Very true. Thank you, Liz. And let's go around and say, hey, check out everybody's content that's showed up today. There's a lot of great stuff happening out there around here. So, I mean, we just go back through it. Dwight's got his show that's about 24 hours from now on his channel. Liz puts out excellent content in HO, and she's got her show where she does that. It's not live, but she puts videos together. Very informative. Pete's posting over on Facebook. I'm going over to his train room today to help him. So I will see you in a bit, Pete. Closet Branch's things are always amusing. You should watch them. And he's got nice little branch line, little switching ops that always have got some great Southern Pacific yard stuff. Let's see who else. Can't forget getting back on track with Steve. He's started up about a year ago, and he's powering to 500 subscribers. I think he just is over that, and he's got a giveaway. And who am I missing? Probably Jerry 2057. He's gotten content that's up there. It's great stuff. Yeah, I'm probably leaving people out, but everybody watch everybody's shows. Yes, I didn't miss you. Hey, oh, Steve 87. Steve 87 has got a peanut butter lid challenge. What is that going to be, like T scale? How big of a jar? Is it going to be a Costco peanut butter, or is it like supermarket? Okay. Yeah. Love to see your content out there, JP. You're making great, great progress. Ah, okay. Do find that those are also cool. Mini Prints has those. Ah, okay. Speaking of which, I saw, how was it? Ron's Trains and Things. I might have to enlist the help of some of my 3D printer people. Might want to make some coal loads. So there you go. We got number 50 closing out here. Made it to an end of an hour. You have once again spent a day, a part of your day, listening to nonsensical ramblings about trains. So we'll close this out. I'll be back. Yep. 1 year anniversary, 1 year. So there we go. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you on other live streams. Sidetrack Sunday is tomorrow. I think it's Bob at PK and W Model Works, I think. Yes. It's oh yeah, happy birthday, not birthday. Okay. Get to the chopper. Yeah, I try to figure that out. I don't know that I want a best of live shows. That would involve me actually going through and watching things and then editing them out. And you know, one of the reasons why I do live shows is so I don't need to edit. Of course, then you get it live. So it is what it is. Anyways, we will see you soon. Thanks everybody for watching. Like and subscribe, spread the word, help your neighbors, help your community, spread the word of Roy Smith. There you go. Okay, we'll see you soon.